Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Industry Talks. Today we have Harry White. He is a 16-year-old actor who is based in LA. He's been acting since he was 5 years old, and he is here to talk about his expertise in the business for being here for so long. So here it is. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Youth Industry Talks. Today we have Harry. He's right here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Harry, like you introduced. I am 16, just turned 16. I have a dog named Carl, cutest dog ever. He's just like this little terrier. I play music. I play piano, played for like 3 years. Just started guitar like a couple months ago and ukulele, and I sing a little bit. Um, I'm in 10th grade. I don't know. I like school somewhat, but I don't do any sports or anything like that. I used to though. I used to play baseball. That was like a big thing, but I chose acting over that.
That's awesome. So the first question I ask everybody, it's very redundant, but I still ask everybody, what made you want to start acting? And then when did you decide to do it professionally as like something you
Definitely.
really wanted to take seriously?
I remember I was 5 years old actually. So my sister's best friend was at a party and she thought this guy was cute. And so like they exchanged numbers, and then he was talking about how he was a director and he was like needing a like younger kid for this part. And so she was like, oh my god, my best friend's younger brother would be perfect for the role. And so um she gave the guy my mom's number and was like, explain the situation, was like, oh yeah, there's gonna audition him real quick, whatever. I'm originally from Tennessee, and this was all in Tennessee, so not like a big, industry place.
Right.
um but we went out for the audition. It was like a long drive. And I remember as soon as we got there, I was like, I don't want to do this. And she was like, okay, well, can we at least tell him, and then I can go to the bathroom too? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So we walk in, and he's walking out to greet us, and my mom goes to say hi, but before I do that, I cut her off. I go around her and I say, hi, my name is Harry White, and if you're casting for the new SpongeBob movie, I'm your guy. And so then my mom pulled me aside. She was like, I thought you didn't want to do this. And I was like, oh no, yeah, I'm doing this for sure. And so I did the audition, and well, I get it. I think I told him that I invented wasabi. Don't know why. I was 5. And then I booked it and did that was my first thing. Months go by, nothing else happened, and I was at like the doctors, and they're like, asking me questions like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was like, "Oh, I already know I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be a superstar, like a massive actor that will be in so many movies." And he was like, "Oh, do you know what my wife does?" And my mom was like, "No." And he told her that he used to, or she used to be a casting agency like member, and it was like, oh yeah, he'd be great for the business. And so um they exchanged numbers and got me an audition for a agency. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I went out for the audition and I sang the Star Spangled Banner in Korean. And they're like, we like him. So they they booked me. Only reason why I knew how to do that is because I did Taekwondo, which is a Korean.
Okay, I was just gonna say,
um,
I'm like, do you speak? I was like, that's so cool. I didn't know that. Okay.
no, I don't speak Korean at all.
Okay.
It was I don't know why we sang the Star Spangled Banner, but we did, and
Yeah.
I memorized it by heart. Not anymore though. Can't do that anymore.
That was my next question. I was gonna be like, do you still know how to do it?
No, no, I don't.
Um,
But yeah, that's kind
my,
of how I started, and ever since then I just spiraled. And when I was 10 years old, I made the I like asked my mom, I was like, we need to go to LA. That's where I need to be to pursue my acting and like how I really want to get big. Um, because my old babysitter, she was on The Voice, and she like met a bunch of like, like managers and this and that.
yeah.
And her manager at the time, like she told him about me because she used to babysit me, and I used to be an actor and this and that. And so we got contact with him, and he was like, "Yeah, come out to LA for a little bit." And so we did. We signed with them, and then we decided to make the move and come here. And yeah,
Wow. And then you've been here ever since?
yeah, yeah,
Wow. That's like a story people say on like big talk shows when they make it like huge. That's so funny.
yeah,
That's so surreal. Most people are like, "Oh, I started in theater and then I like got an agent." And like,
no,
that's how I did. I feel like that's how a lot of
mm,
people did it, but
yeah.
that's so cool. Are you still with your same like team agents managers now?
No, no, we left them. I'm still with the same agency because the month that we came out here just to like see how it is,
Hmm.
the first week I auditioned for a new agency that's in California,
Hmm.
and the top one that we picked, I got him. I got with them in like the first week. It was crazy. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm good, I guess.
Wow.
I was so confused. I was like, I mean, I'll take it.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And then
but we switched
also,
management.
oh, you could, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I also know you do like you're a musician, you sing, you
yeah.
do piano and guitar. You're really good. I've seen your like right there. I've seen like your Instagram posts and stuff. You're really
Thank you.
good.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I was gonna say, how did you get into that? Did you know you always loved like singing and doing music too, or was that something you discovered like kind of later once you started like being an actor?
Mhm. Like instruments more so later because actually I originally played piano was my first instrument. Well,
Mhm.
no, when I was really, really younger, I used to play like just a bunch of random instruments. I used to play like drums for a little bit and guitar for a little bit and the violin for a little bit and the flute. No, the recorder, because that was for school. Um,
Yes, me too.
yeah, yeah, it was terrible. But I wasn't good at any of them, so I kind of just like dropped them. But I always just sang mainly because like my sister, she's a singer. She's an opera singer. Yeah, an amazing one too. It shocks me because she's just like this little person that has this giant voice.
Wow.
Yeah, but she always used to sing, and I'd always be like, my turn, and I always try to copy her.
Yeah.
So I always just like did singing and stuff like that. But music, like instruments and stuff like that, I got into piano first because I had a job. It was a short film where I played. I was the main character, and I played. It's called Valentino and the Prodigy.
Hmm.
I was a Jewish piano prodigy. I'm not Jewish, but I was a Jewish piano prodigy. And I remember on set I like was just like messing around and this and that, and like the choreographer for the piano taught me a couple of songs. And I was like, oh wait, I actually like this. And so afterwards we bought this electrical piano like a couple months afterwards because I was like, I like this. And then started taking lessons, and I just progressed from there. And then recently, um, recently I've just been like all the songs I listen to all have guitar in it because I like classical rock and all that stuff. Um, but I just wanted to play like what I listen to. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I would imagine it does. Does being able to like play instruments help you get like certain different types of auditions and be able to play different characters? Because I would imagine it would. I don't play instruments. I used to be able to
Mhm.
play guitar like actually kind of well when I was younger. And then I
Nice.
stopped taking lessons because I was like, oh, I know how to do this. Like I know how to play guitar. And then I failed. I like completely forgot how to do it and I haven't done it since. But I loved it when I did
Mhm.
it. And now
Right. Yeah.
I haven't got back to doing it yet.
Right. Yeah, I would say so. Definitely mainly singing. Singing is the biggest. Because like musicals all have like singing and stuff like that. I've gone out for a lot of like musical auditions and stuff like that. But guitar too, because guitar is like a common instrument
Yeah.
that a lot of people play. Um, so it'll always be like, oh yeah, I can play like like on the auditions side, it'll say like can play guitar or can
Yeah.
fake playing guitar or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also ask everybody this too for auditioning. And once you started doing it professionally, you're like a pro at it now. You've been doing it for like 11 years. But do you have a quote unquote like process when you're doing an audition, or like does it depend on the character? Do you kind of like have a certain way you go about doing it? How do you do that?
There's always like the same type of steps I do, but like, there's always like different obstacles in between that I like work around. But a lot of times whenever I get the script, I start reading it. I read it through fully, like once or twice. Then I go by scene and I memorize the scene. But before that, the way I memorize it, I memorize the first like hunk of words, and the second, and then the
Mhm.
third, and then the fourth. And then I practice with my mom. We'll do a full run through of that scene, and we'll film the scene, then go to the next scene. That's kind of how we usually do it.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's always like obstacles because like for blocking, sometimes if I like get tripped up over like a certain like type of like words, something like that, I usually sometimes like will add a action or some type of thing I can like incorporate with it to
Mhm.
make it easier. Like what I used to do is I would have like a glass of water, and uh it like instead of making me think about the line so much and making it like seem almost fake, I would think about having the water in my hands and like that, so it seemed more natural the way I like would say the words and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't think of ever doing it like that. And that also brings up like training. Do you do acting training? Do you have like coaches that you go with all the time? How do you do that too?
I used to a lot before quarantine, like ever since I came to California, I went to a couple of different ones, and then I also do it with my management because my manager, one of my managers, he's great with like he's really funny and he's really great at advice and stuff like that and like helping me with auditions and stuff. Um, but I used to a lot. I just haven't done it in a while.
I'm in the Northeast.
Mm.
I'm based in Boston and New York, but I live like outside of Boston, so I live in
Mm.
Massachusetts. Yeah, we just
Oh,
had
okay.
a major blizzard, by the way. But
Ooh, yeah, I've heard.
literally, I have a foot of snow outside of my house right now. But yeah, it's
I'm
really
so
bad.
jealous. Like I know that's definitely bad, but like I'm so jealous.
Oh, right, because you used to live in Tennessee. You've only lived in Tennessee and California, right?
Yeah, or no, I lived in Florida too, but Florida's not any
Florida, right? Yeah.
like.
I've I've always lived here, so I have learned to hate it. And now that I'm driving, I hate it even more because like I
Yeah,
like just washed my car like 2 days ago, and now there's going to be sand and salt all over it. But it's pretty for like the first hour, and then it's like,
yeah,
okay, stop. It's really annoying to drive in now. But what
yeah,
I was saying, yeah, the quarantine for me when like COVID happened, obviously it's horrible and it's still happening. But in terms of like training and like my career, it was actually great because I got to train with people who are in LA and New York and not have to drive there or not have to fly there every week just to do lessons or auditions.
right.
Um, and that too, like, I'm sure you're only doing self tape still, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Do you have a preference of self tape or in person?
in person for sure. In person, way for sure. Because then like you can build like relationships with the casting
Yeah.
crew. So it's like I don't know. I just feel a lot more confident in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only did a few I did like a handful of in-person auditions and then COVID happened. But
Right.
I really liked it because it gave me it, like you said, like building relationships and actually getting to see the casting director. Like I've
Yeah.
auditioned for tens of casting directors since quarantine happened, but I don't actually know any of them. Like I've never met them, I've never been in the room
Yeah.
with them. They just know my name and they know like the scene that I did. Like
Yeah.
so that's really true. But
Yeah.
luckily, like when you have scenes that are like you have like a six scene thing, I
Ooh.
can just memorize like scene by scene and not have to be nervous about like messing up in
Yeah.
front of a room of casting directors.
Yeah. That's the good thing about it. Um, One thing I do like though about like in person is because like with the way that they talk to you, you can work off of it better. I feel like
Yeah,
because it doesn't feel like it's rehearsed for that side either.
yeah, that's true.
That's one thing I kind of noticed like more recently, because every time I like do it with my mom, I'm always like, oh, okay. Like I've heard it like so many times from her, but like hearing it from a different person is like makes it feel more like real,
Right, right.
basically. Yeah.
I film all my self tapes with my little sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and she's like the only person other than some of my acting friends that I'll like record a scene with or whatever. And I always ask them like, "Oh, do you have like any feedback or like like should I have done something differently?" And she's always just like, "No, it was good," or like, "No, it sucked." Like she doesn't really give me feedback. It's always funny. I'm always like, "Okay, was it good?" She's like, "Oh yeah, it was really good." Or someone she'll look at me and she'll be like, "Justin." you need to redo that. And I'll be like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay. That's the only feedback I've gotten. I miss having someone actually give
yeah,
me like critical feedback, something that I can like
yeah.
work off of or change it. And yeah, this is okay. This is a question I was asking everybody. What
Hmm.
was your first onset, like professional onset experience like, and how has it evolved since then?
Okay, professional.
Y- Actually, no, first onset experience at all, even if it like wasn't
Ever
good.
okay. It was when I was 5 when I booked the that thing. All I remember because I was 5 is I was in a stroller and I was playing with a like plastic airplane
Yeah.
because I think I was like getting kidnapped by a homeless guy.
God.
Yeah, that's all I remember about that. And I remember my mom jokes about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, you got paid in candy. Like they just give me candy." I was like, "It's worth."
Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
You have to
I
watch it
might
now.
have like when I was younger, but I haven't seen it recently.
You would probably be, I would be so insecure watching myself. I was 5
Oh
years
my
old. I'd be
god.
like, no, please.
Literally I get insecure about stuff I did a year ago. So
I know.
it won't be any better
And then yeah, like how has it evolved since that first
since
time?
then. Um well then I don't really remember much. But now I feel like it's more structured. Like I understand how things need to be done at this time, or
Mhm.
like times times aren't sometimes you're not supposed to joke around. You're just supposed to be serious, do the scene,
Right.
work. Then there's other times where it's like, oh yeah, you can yeah, it's not like being on set, you just feel more comfortable with it and you're more so like used to it.
Yeah.
Like you understand what you should do, basically.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah. Being on set is something that you can like teach that. Like I feel like
Yeah.
even like acting lessons or acting classes when I was like really young, like when I was doing theater or like really small stuff, no one can teach you like set, what do you call it? Like etiquette or like how
Yeah,
you're
set
supposed to
etiquette,
act
yeah.
or like figure out like what's going on. Like you just have to figure it out. Like I remember the
Yeah.
first this is so embarrassing to think about, but the first time I was on a set where like there was like an actual crew and like
Mhm.
it was like professional. It was for a short film, like a student short film, but it was like a
Mm.
bigger scale student
Yeah,
short film, I
yeah.
guess. And my like the person I was working with, we'd like just met. And I had never heard the crew like slang and like things that they say. And they were literally just saying PA, production assistant, obviously.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant. And I turned to like to my the person I was working with, and I was like, what the hell is a PA? And he was like, oh, it's just a production assistant. And I was like, oh, I look so stupid. Like I do not belong here. Now, of course, I know what things mean or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like there's some stuff you just have to like figure out and embarrass yourself sometimes when you're
Yeah.
on set.
Yeah. It's literally the practice makes perfect type thing.
Yeah.
It's just about experience,
Yeah.
whether
Um,
it may be bad or good.
right, right. And also like with auditioning and callbacks
Mhm.
and being close and not getting it, how has rejection been? How have you learned to kind of cope with it? Is it still kind of a constant struggle? Because I know for me it is, for sometimes it's not. I feel like people go through waves of having it really affect them with rejection stuff, but how do you
Mhm.
deal with that?
Um, I kind of have like this rule that I go by. Um, I remember I made it because I auditioned for the new, or it's not new now, but like the newest Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Uh-huh.
Like, but I was like really young then, and I was just too young for the part. And but I remember I was like super into it because I woke up at like 6 in the morning and I memorized it in the morning and I like woke my mom up and I was like, I got it. I memorized it. I can do it. I believe in myself. And she was like, yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. And I was like, I will. I'll get it. And then they like when I was doing the audition, they're like, he's just too cute. He just can't like he can't do it. I'm like, oh
Oh,
yeah. But I was really young, but ever since then, I kind of like had this idea in my head that like I do the audition, then I just forget about it. If I get it, amazing. If I don't, I'll just get another audition like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's of course auditions. You don't really come by super easily now because of COVID,
Right.
but it's like just look for the next audition.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I kind of like got over that hurdle.
Yeah. I've thankfully like started to actually do that in practice. I always told myself like I've heard people say that before, like just like try and forget about it or whatever. When I first started, I absolutely could not do that, especially because I was getting auditions. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm getting like big auditions for big things. And like I would be so excited about it and convince myself I was gonna get
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
And then luckily, like the past few times I've been like doing things, I would actually just find myself forgetting about it. And those few times where I actually forgot is when I booked it. So it was just like it
Yeah.
was a pleasant surprise to like open my phone and them to be like, oh, hey, like we're offering you the role of blah, 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 blah. So it's always like a pleasant surprise if you forget
Yeah.
about it and then you get a call back or you book it.
Yeah.
And this is a big, like, overarching question. I guess there
Mhm.
could be many answers to this, but what has been one of the biggest things you've learned being in the industry for like so far?
Probably like knowing not everything is about you. Like that sounds like, everybody's gonna learn that eventually, but knowing that, oh, it's like a machine. Like there's so many different things, and I feel like that kind of forced me to think about it like at like a younger age to be like to be more professional, like know when to be professional. Um and not just, like just being like an a-hole all the time and just
Yeah.
like making jokes whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be like the biggest thing. Being able to just like be professional when needed.
Yeah. That's really true. And that could go for like good advice too. Like know when you're on set,
Yeah.
there's so many other people there that are also working to make whatever project
Yeah.
that is going on. And what, if any, problems or issues have you seen in the industry that you hope us as a generation of like younger people growing up
And
in the
fix.
industry can hopefully fix?
Um, I don't know, because a lot of the problems are things that you can't really fix. Let's say if you don't get an audition, like a lot of the times it's you don't fit like the look. That's
Yeah.
that's one of the things. Um, and it's just an unfair business in general. I guess one thing maybe is that like I know this probably won't be fixed, but whenever like somebody's who's already big, super super big, has like the exact same talent as somebody that's not as big, they will have priority over every single audition just because they are big.
Yep.
And it's good for them, but not good for the not as popular
Yeah.
person, which I understand, like, oh, this person's from that. Oh, he's also in that too. Like, whatever. And it may be good because he's known, but like, so this person isn't. But they could be having the exact same opportunities, same exact same things. But this will like the person, big like the popular person will always get it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really true. And it's really frustrating, especially with I know so I'm in the Northeast and New England is
Mhm.
becoming more of like a hot spot to film a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So I have like my agents in New York and LA, but I also have like my agent in Boston that gets me like New England local stuff. And I remember that they were this is something specific, so not to call out this movie, but Hocus Pocus 2 was
Oh.
filming in exclusively in New England. They were filming a few things in LA, but they were only like a few shots. They were filming the entire movie in Rhode Island. And I live in Massachusetts, so I got an audition to be one of the new leads in the movie. And obviously, I was so excited. Everybody in New England was auditioning for these roles. And at first, they were like, "Oh, we really want to cast somebody new who's like a local, like
Hmm.
whatever." So like all of us local people were very
Right.
excited or
Very. Yeah.
whatever.
Excited about
And then
that.
they end up casting somebody who's with like CAA in LA. Now, of course, nothing
Yeah.
against those people. Like, I'm so
Right.
happy for
Yeah.
you. You got that role. Like, but it's just kind of, frustrating when it's
Unfair.
like, yeah,
It feels like it was promised to people like that are local,
yeah.
when in reality there was no.
There was no
Yeah.
chance. There wasn't like
Yeah.
we knew like we all were excited, but in the back of our heads, we knew, even my agent, like we knew that they were gonna cast somebody with like big. I mean, it's a Disney movie. Like, of course they want a name attached to it, but um that's a really good point. Hope it probably won't be fixed, but it's
Yeah.
still something
Because
annoying that
yeah.
happens. And one of my last things is any words of advice to either aspiring actors or people who are already like working in the industry.
Um. Don't give up just because you face rejection, because the rejection makes you better. Every single time that you don't get something, think about how you can improve, because there's so many kids that like go for a while, then get super, super close, and then the other person just like has a better look. Don't get down on yourself for that. Because there's so many great actors that could be super successful if they just keep on trying. And hey, even if you don't feel it as much, don't have it as your priority. Do whatever else you want to do, but keep it still there, because one day you could be something like super, super big. That's probably the what I would say. I've told this to my one of my friends so many times, and now he's like on a movie and 2 shows, and
Yeah.
so I'm like, I told you, this is because of me. I
Oh,
take credit for this.
yeah, you helped him book those jobs. It was
Right,
all you.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really good advice too. I've heard, I mean, like you never know. Like
yeah,
you could quit acting one day, but little did you know, like the next day you could have gotten
yeah.
some
You could have gotten,
audition
yeah,
that would be like your big break, or would be a series regular on some show or something.
yeah,
So I mean, you never know, and just you're right, keep going, and you can do
yeah.
other things with your life. You don't have to only be acting 24/7, like obsessing over it, but
Right.
just keep it there and like don't give up. That's really good
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah. I would
Um,
honestly say do that anyway. Like have a don't make your entire life about acting
right.
anyways, because it's all about chance, really. It's a very, very situational
Yep.
industry.
Yeah.
So if you make it all about it, oof, that's on you. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely have learned that. So I've started to like go start working in terms of like making money on the business side
Mm,
of the industry. Because when
mm,
I obviously I love acting, but I've fallen in love with like the business side, the corporate side, like all of the casting side and all that stuff. So I've started to like smartly be like, okay, I can still work in the industry to make money while I'm also acting. So I'm starting to do like internships and work at agencies and stuff like that. So
nice.
I can just have some sort of income when I'm
Yeah.
auditioning and
Yeah.
not booking things. Um, so yeah, that's very true because it is all chance. There's
Yeah.
so many talented people, and even people
Yeah.
who like look like you. You're like, wait, they look exactly like me. What if they act like me too? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You can't you can't just assume everything.
Yeah. Oh, and my last thing,
Mm.
any like plugs, Instagrams, websites, things coming out, things you're working on, anything?
Uh, well, I am working on a couple songs uh on guitar and piano. So those will be posted on Instagram soon. My Instagram is Harry underscore H White. I don't do the YouTube or nothing like that. Yeah, that's kind of and just like and we'll see about what I book next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to be here.
So yeah, that was my talk with Harry. It was so nice to hear his insight on being in the industry from so long, what he remembers from being so young and starting out, his hilarious story of finding an agent. Like, I literally was listening to that and I was like, this is legit like what they say on interviews when you're really famous and you talk about getting an agent and you're like, did that really happen? But it does. He literally said it. It was cool to hear his advice and opinions on things in the industry. It was just really great to talk to him. I mean, he's a seasoned actor, he knows what he's doing. Everyone, please go check out his Instagram. He has music up there. He's a super talented actor and musician and singer. Everyone, go check him out and support him. Stay tuned.